All right, we are live and excited to be here today. Todd Cahill, your host of the show, You Versus You, Ways to Kick Your Own Ass and Win. I'm really excited about this show. Today is Tuesday. Hope all of you guys are well all over the country. And obviously, if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube or any of the group pages, we obviously really appreciate that and so glad that you're joining us. We definitely have an awesome guest speaker today. We're going to talk a lot about entrepreneurship today. But before we get into the interview today with Balwinder, all the way from Calgary, Canada, the person that I'm interviewing, who I'm so excited about. If you're new to the show or if you're watching the replay, definitely we value your comments and your input. This is a show that, being the author of the book You Versus You, which is a national best-selling book across the country, the reason I wrote it is because I've always wanted to really not try but win the actual battle within myself. A lot of people think there's competition all around us, but it definitely comes from within. And that's really the premise of the show, is how we can win the battle. And especially now through maybe this trying time that you might face. Maybe you lost your job. Maybe you're on furlough. Maybe you don't know the future. Maybe you are losing hope. Maybe you don't have a vision, a compelling vision within your future. So I try to bring on some amazing people all over America, all over Canada, that I have had the pleasure and currently have the pleasure of coaching in our Inside Out coaching program. And today we have Balwinder Marwaha, who is awesome. I've been coaching him for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks actually. And a little bit about Balwinder, who I said is from Calgary, Canada. We're just talking about the weather. Still really cold up there. Same in Chicago. It's been snowing here. Can't wait for the actual spring and summer. But Balwinder is a proud Canadian. He's born and raised in Calgary. But the thing about him is he has a beautiful family, wife, children, but he's been an entrepreneur for 17 years. So I want to get into really what he can share from his perspective of his mindset, even back when he was young, and then basically what he's doing now. So we're going to talk a little bit about entrepreneurship. We're going to talk about the COVID-19. We're going to talk about leadership. We're going to talk about family. So thanks again for joining us. So Balwinder, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Love for you to just chat a little bit about your background and currently what you do.
Awesome. So to start off with, as you said, born and raised in Calgary, true Canadian, love hockey. I have a beautiful wife and 2 kids. Very thankful for that. So one of the things I will correct is I actually was an entrepreneur and started at the age of 17. So not 17 years ago, but at the age of 17. So I was very lucky growing up. My parents were in business for a number of years. I helped out quite a bit with the family business. It was a corner store at the time. And it just gave me a lot of inspiration, a lot of excitement, and a lot of experience. So I thought in high school, I had taken this business course called Marketing and Management. Wonderful teacher, Susan DeVike, love her. Super, super awesome lady. Really helped with understanding business. Through that class, we got to start up a business. In grade 11, I'm 16 years old, and there's a group of us, and I got to be the CEO of this company called Candle Sensations. We sold shares for the company. We started this company. We sold a product. At the end of the school term, we dissolved the company and gave a return to the shareholders. And then that company went on to win Business of the Year through this program, through the schooling program.
Awesome.
Got to meet some wonderful people, get interviewed by a lot of wonderful people, and that so gave me tons of motivation, super excited. And then I thought, hey, I want to do something for myself. And so at the age of 17, I'm in grade 12, took a trip to Vancouver to visit my brother. And during that trip, I saw this awesome business opportunity. It was very unique, had to do with people's names. And so I said, hey, you know what? This is perfect. It's not in Calgary. It's not going to take me a lot of money to get started. So I hit up my parents for a $10,000 loan. And I said, hey, Mom, Dad, I want to start a business. I need $10,000. And they're like, you crazy? But you know what? They were with me. They supported me, gave me the money to go and start this business. And I was in grade 12, had a business in the mall, had people working for me. First year was brutal. Christmas time, but just picked the wrong mall. Not a ton of experience. Thankfully, walked away, not losing money, but not making any money. So a year later, opened up again at Christmas time, different mall, had a kiosk for 6 weeks, and it was awesome. I first time ever, in my own success in business. In that 6-week period, made just under $20,000. And so this is way back, in 1999.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty exciting.
Very cool. So basically you had a lot of background in business and stuff. So what did you learn from 17 years old to today? So I'm not really exactly sure, how many years that is, doing the math right up front. But so in 20 something years, whatever, what have you learned? I mean, like, what have you just learned, first of all? Then I'm going to talk about transformation and leadership. But obviously business is tough. It's not easy. But what are some of the key lessons that you have already taken away from business, and that what you can give to anyone that maybe is thinking about being a business owner nowadays?
Well, here's the thing is it's, we've all heard the grass is greener on the other side, and, it always looks greener on the other side. And I swear my neighbor's lawn's always nicer than mine, but,
Right.
There's going to be ups and downs. And the biggest thing is having a clear vision, knowing of what you want to do with the business. I've run a number of businesses through the year, and I've loved every one of them. And it's because I've wanted to do it. Going into a business, I've always thought about, hey, if I do this, what's my exit? When I want to leave this business, what can I do with it? When I want to move on or move forward from this. And you're going to fail. Unfortunately, that's the reality. And if you don't fail, you don't learn, you don't grow. So you don't have to go big. I was lucky I had parents that loaned me $10,000, but I've seen people start small businesses off credit cards. You look at the Under Armour story, $7,000 credit card loan. And now Under Armour is one of the top sports apparel companies out there.
Yeah. Started in Maryland, I believe.
So, it's not hard to do. You do your research, be passionate about what you're doing, and do it for the right reasons.
So talk to me a little bit about your personal growth plan. So have you ever did you start out at 17 kind of having some goals and some personal growth plan for your business, for just your life? Or was that more in your 20s or 30s? Or have you ever had a personal growth plan? Tell me a little bit about that. Like, what drives you, what motivates you to do business, and really obviously drives in the family and the fatherhood and the leadership and all that stuff?
Yeah. So, it's funny because when I was in high school, and I was fortunate, I'm the youngest of 4 boys. So I had 3 older brothers to look up to, and they really supported me and helped me and gave me guidance when I needed it. So, special thanks to them. But I had the right teachings, I had the right foundations, and I was, whether you want to call it luck or whether it was, I was just looking for that, but I had the right people fall into my life and connect with those people, and they helped me and they guided me. And so I felt like I was the king of the world back then. And I want to have that feeling now. And this is why I'm doing this program with you but when I was 17, and then after I graduated high school, I was actually going back into high schools, talking to kids and coaching them through a course in career life management about success and goal setting, because I was following that. I was following the mantras. I was writing my goals down. I was using my day timer religiously. And that's what allowed me to get the success I had. And then as you get older, life takes over. Sometimes you start, you have little successes, you have some failures. I remember I went into a vending machine business once, and $32,000 down the drain later, learned the hard way that, hey, coffee vending machines were not the thing. People wanted their real fresh coffee from a real person,
Right.
But you learn, and sometimes those things, they kind of hit you hard. They take a chunk out of you, and you let that affect you. And this is why doing a program like I'm doing now, I'm able to reflect on that, and I'm able to say, you know what, that's okay. What did I learn from this? How can I move forward? And how can I build my business even better?
Yeah. Well, in my book, I write about like you versus your dreams and you versus your success. So I want to ask you a couple questions here. So what would be like the most amazing outcome for you that's in alignment with your dreams 5 years out that you want to happen in 2020? What would be an amazing outcome that you're looking to kind of make happen?
So the biggest thing I think for me this year is to have my coaching business take off. I spent a lot of time with youth and students in my past, helping them. And the funny thing is, I've always seen a person here and there, and they're like, hey, I remember you came to our school and talked to us, and I loved it. It totally helped me out. So I want to take that to the masses. I want to help people live super successful lives. I want them to have great relationships, know where they want to be in life, know where they want to go. And just like myself, you start somewhere and you grow from that. You become bigger.
That's awesome. And if you could be a little bit transparent, what's been a challenge for you? Like, is it apathy? Is it maybe falling out of the routine, the scheduling? What's been something that's been showing up, but now you have the self-awareness and you're addressing it?
I think the biggest thing, and the one of the things that really, really hit me, there's two things, and one is get out of your own way.
Okay.
Really getting in my own way, make excuses to not do things. I would, so you could call it apathy, but really, and I won't say I'm not successful, but I could be way more successful, and I know that, but I'm not taking the actions that I need to. And I was really getting in my own way. The other big thing that I've got over the last few weeks is that always be a better version of yourself. And so, at the end of the day, I ask myself, what did I do today that made me better than what I was yesterday? And if I don't have an answer for that, then I know the next day I need to work harder. But so far in the last 3 weeks, I've been able to answer that to myself every day with a good answer and say, yeah, you know what, this is what I did better. And this is how I improved myself. And whether that's by reading a book, whether that's by reaching out to someone who helped me through my life and giving them a call and saying, hey, thanks, I really appreciate what you did. Whatever that may be, that little thing, that little schedule, I meditated today. And so those are the two key things I would say that were big. And now I've got the system and I'm really working on that, and it's helping.
So talk a little bit about the system, because, when someone has a vision, a compelling vision, and they see their future, and I talk to a lot of people every day, whether they're clients or they want to be potential clients, something always comes up. And that is the word accountability. I think some people are shy from it. They are scared of the word accountability. And then some people are just like so hungry for it. So what is your perspective in the past 3 weeks of just accountability, having someone or other people that hold you accountable? And what has that done for momentum in your life, really in the past 3 weeks?
So I guess I'll start with saying the timing couldn't have been better. My clinic's been closed since March 23rd, not seeing any patients, so I'm stuck at home. I would say the biggest thing was, having this system in place. So the first thing was just knowing where my current reality is. Where am I really at in all these different places in my life? Where do I stand? And then now looking at, okay, where do I want to go? What's important to me? Where do I need to be? Where do I want to be? And then having that plan. So having like the 6 steps that we talk about in the program all the time, know what your current reality is. What do you want to be, do, and have in 5 years? And, what's your 5-year vision? Where do you want to be in 5 years from now? And then setting up your goals for what's my annual goal, which we just talked about. And then what do I need to achieve this month? And then what am I doing every day to get towards that? And because we're talking as a group twice a week, we're talking one-on-one every couple of weeks, we've got this system in place, you've got accountability, and you're saying, hey, you know what? I have no reason to not do this. And the funny thing is a lot of everything here, I knew a bunch of it. Just the system wasn't there. Now I've got this great system, and I've got my vision, I've got motivation, I'm excited, I'm pumped up. Every day I wake up and I'm like, oh, this is going to be such an awesome day. Like, I'm looking forward to it, Not that I didn't have awesome days before this. It's just, it's become more elevated. I don't want to send the wrong message that life was miserable before this.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. What's it like though, on the other side? I know a lot of people out there they just think like being coached, and I'm not trying to pitch coaching right now. Obviously I want to get to know you and just kind of what you're doing. But ever since I was a little kid, I knew how important it is to have a coach. I mean, you play hockey, right? For 13 years, you love hockey, you're in Canada. It makes sense. I love basketball, growing up. You have to have a coach in hockey in order to get better and be guided, because you don't know the plays. You got to learn the plays. Every team has different plays. Yes, there's fundamentals. And then we go into life. And it's really interesting where we have coaches for softball, little league, baseball, and all these things growing up, whether you're a male or female. But then when you get into the real world, we're not coached. We have a boss, usually, if we have a regular job or a W-2, or if we try to be an entrepreneur, God forbid, we've got to do it all ourselves. So how has it been for you to actually have some coaches in your life to guide you, as opposed to maybe be quarantined in your house? Even if you're the most disciplined person in the world, you got the refrigerator down the hall, you got the kids hanging out, the wife's there. So how is having a coach different than not having one? If you could just maybe just explain that, just to
Sure.
get a different perspective.
I think the biggest thing is that there's a few things. One is accountability. Someone's holding you accountable to your actions. And, when you write down what your goals are, what your vision is, a lot of time, when we talked about this on the call the other day, everyone will, they'll go to it. They'll be like, hey, this is my goal. This is what I really want to achieve. But then they won't take the steps necessary. They won't action the steps. Or maybe you've got this awesome goal. We see this all the time. I see with my patients all the time. Patients will come in and be like, yeah, man, I want to lose weight. This is my goal. This is where I want to be. But now they don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
And unless, they go to the gym, they hire a personal trainer, maybe someone who's going to guide them nutritionally, those coaches are no different than a coach for your personal life who's taking you to that next level. And as you said, life doesn't come with a coach. You can read books, you can learn stuff, but when you have someone, you have a group of people, you're surrounding yourself with the right people, it takes you to that next level.
So that's perfect segue to my next question is, I don't know if you've always been ingrained with that. You said you had 3 older brothers that obviously had a great impact on your life, but when was maybe an age that you had the self-awareness that, oh my gosh, like I've got to audit my inner circle. I have to surround myself. If I want to be a better hockey player, I got to hang out with better hockey players. If I want to be a more successful business owner, I got to hang out with the better, not the same or less. I want to hang out with better. What age did you have that self-awareness, and how has that served you to have a strong inner circle of great people that believe in you, you believe in them, and they lift you up?
Good question. A couple of things. I would say one was going into high school. In junior high school, I was very lucky through elementary right through to like junior high school. I had a lot of the same friends, and we were such a close circle, and they're awesome people. And people like Josh and Mike and Camille, they were awesome. Going into high school, I had a different circle. And the funny thing was, in grade 10, a lot of my friends were grade 11ers and even a couple of grade 12ers. And it's just because I wanted people that had a bit of a better handle on life, or knew, or had some experience. And again, you still stayed in touch with some of those friends, and I still do today. And like I said, they're great people, but having that little bit of experience really helped. So high school was a big change, but then I would say a little bit later, I've been very fortunate as a small child right through now. I've always been involved with the Gurdwara, or the Sikh temple, and going with my parents growing up as a little kid. But when I was in my 20s, I was able to get involved with one of the local temples here on a pretty heavy basis. Volunteered a lot of my time, and so a lot of the people that were at the temple, again, a lot of positive energy, spiritual. Guided me to the right way. And, I saw a lot of the other people that were in the same age group as me and what they were doing. And I was really glad I wasn't doing a lot of those things. Yeah,
that's okay. So now that you're obviously past that, you passed high school, past college and stuff like that, recently even introduced 30 plus, 40 plus people. Here's the thing, I want to be transparent. There's a lot of people watching this and they're willing to replay. And if anyone does catch this, maybe we catch them at maybe it's a bad part of their life. Maybe because of the fear, maybe it's because of the anxiety, like some of their friends are disconnecting. They're more focused on kind of surviving right now instead of thriving.
Totally.
So how can one be of service to another person? We talk about different even religions or different beliefs, spirituality. I think at the end of the day, we are to love each other. So how can we take initiative first, even if some friends are not contacting us? Because I think a lot of times we wait for people to contact us. But
Mhm.
how do you personally take initiative just to be of service to people, just to be there for some, because I know you're good at that. I know you're very great at communication and reaching out, and also just being of service and encouragement to other people. So
Mhm.
what drives that, and maybe what can someone do today coming out of this just to go reach out and share their gratefulness, or
Yeah.
shares, to that make someone else's day?
Absolutely. So, funny thing you mentioned this, because just yesterday, I do these weekly posts on Instagram, a different
Hmm.
affirmation for the week, something that really resonates with me. And so,
Hmm.
yesterday I tweeted about, I did an Instagram post about this where I
Hmm.
said, we all have a gift and we should share it. Now, everyone's gift is different. Yeah,
Hmm.
like yours is coaching,
Hmm.
mine maybe speaking,
Hmm.
mine whatever it is. Someone else it might just be cooking. Who knows
Yeah.
what it is? But
Right.
there's 1,001 ways you can help people, and it doesn't
Hmm.
have to be a certain way. Whatever small skill you have, whatever you're good at, everyone has something. And if you don't know what it is, just listen to yourself, listen to your heart really deep down. You will find it. But once you know what that is, just go with it.
Hmm.
Let it, and you take one step towards the right direction, and the energies, God, power will take 10 steps towards you. It's
Hmm.
amazing.
So you've meditated quite frequently, and you've done meditation. So when you say listen to yourself, what if someone's just so in this kind of, how we're all sometimes just constantly like,
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
Oh, trust me, I'm guilty. My brother
right?
was giving me my brother
Right,
was giving me a hard time before this call. He's like, "So I'm gonna text you every minute." I'm like, "I'm not taking my phone with me." He's like, "What? No,
yeah,
that can't be possible. You always have your phone." I'm like, I'm disciplining myself,
yeah,
and this is what it comes down to: is you've got to really discipline. And let's say you're a person who's on your phone from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to bed. Well, start with just 5 minutes.
hmm,
The first 5 minutes when you wake up, leave your phone. Don't even touch it. I
hmm,
promise you that whether you get that notification or that emoji or whatever it is now, or 5 minutes from now, it's not going to change your life.
right,
And then maybe it's 10 minutes the second day. And so, I was the other day, 3 hours, didn't touch my phone. It was on the charger and left it.
yep,
I got up, I did my meditation, I worked out, did my prayer, did some reading, came downstairs. My wife's working from home, so her home office, in the office I'm in right now, came and checked on her, and then I went back up and checked on my phone,
hmm,
and it was the same stuff. In fact, it's like the same forwards and the same. There's
yeah,
everyone's talking about coronavirus, and yeah, it's awful. And while I talk about that, I do want to give a big shout out and a big thank you to everyone who's out there, whether you're delivering stuff, whether you're working in a grocery store or a hospital, frontline,
yeah,
doctor, ER, whatever it is.
yep,
Thank you.
yep,
Thank you for keeping our world moving.
yep,
But you know, just step away from that and just give yourself a few minutes. And whether you just sit in silence, whether you decide to just wake up and lie in bed and just lie there for 5 minutes, give yourself that time. It's so important.
I think sometimes people don't set their intentions for the day. They just wake up, and what happens is it's fight or flight. Even if they're home quarantined, there's a lot of stress going on, a lot of cortisol levels. And then if they're obviously don't have a personal trainer, maybe they're not as disciplined to work out at home and be creative. So there could be a lot of people really struggling right now. And then you have like marriages and relationships, and I think domestic violence is up 25%. I mean, there's just, and it makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just tough. Like, and of course I hate all that, but at the same time, like sometimes you're going to get cranky, and then the kids are crying and they want the iPad, and they're, yeah. So this is why we kind of bring information and content like this with people like you, Balwinder, who are just so super positive, and no one's perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm working on my stuff. You're working on your stuff, but there is something special about someone like you who chooses to grow. And that's all the people I do want to highlight when I have the You versus You show, is because I think sometimes we all think like celebrities are bigger than life and athletes are bigger than life, but it's not true. It's like we're all human. We're all on this planet together, And we all have a choice. We're either going to grow like the trees of nature and be watered and water ourselves, so to speak, with growth from coaching and personal growth and having a plan, or we're going to choose to die, not literally, but figuratively. So you have chose to grow. So how difficult was that really the 3-4 weeks ago to really say, not only am I going to get started in a coaching program, but you probably knew that you would have to get vulnerable, you would have to get real, you would have to, be real with me, obviously, as your coach, current reality, some of the emotion code stuff that we're doing and some of the emotional baggage. How has that served you so quickly, really in the past three weeks?
Going back to what I said earlier, timing. It's funny because I had this idea that we've talked about coaching, and I had written it down. I had shared it with Gurneet, my wife, and I said, "Hey, what do you think of this idea?" And she's like, "Yeah, it sounds cool." This isn't the first time I've written down an idea or I've shared an idea. I've done this for years. And then I put this paper down and it sat there and it sat there and it sat there. And a couple months later, Spencer, hey, thank you very much, Spencer, reaches out to me. We talk pretty regular anyways. But Spencer reaches out to me and says, "Hey, listen, I'm doing this coaching. I think this is totally because Spencer and I have been working on the emotion code and stuff like that. And so he's like, this is totally it's totally up your alley." And so it was a difficult decision, but an easy one at the same time to say, you know what, I do this now or I'm not going to do it. Or, here's an opportunity. I'm a big believer in fate and destiny. And when things fall in and things come across your way, it's meant to be.
Yep.
And so I felt like, you know what, this is meant to be. I'm going to do this. And, you mentioned a tree earlier, and like you water a tree, you got to prune a tree. You've got to cut some branches off and you've got to make changes. Maybe it's a plant and you got to put it in a bigger potter. Yep. Otherwise the roots are going to be. And so I realized that this is my time. I need to change my pot. I need to go into a bigger pot so my roots can establish more, so I can do more with myself. And you know what? I'm not growing any taller, so I better grow inside.
Right. And you're also getting the depth of the pot because you're really expanding the capacity of you to learn and take action and grow. Because I think it really comes down when somebody wants to change, they have to have a burning desire. They also have the capacity to actually be teachable and coachable. And I think for you, it's an attitude. So the reason that you are going to not only change your life, and of course are doing that, but really taking your life to the next level, but also a vision of you just manifesting this massive change in your community and transformation, is because you, sir, have the capacity to grow. And that just comes from your humbleness and your willingness to actually be humble and to grow and to learn, so that way you can turn into this person you've always wanted to become at a higher level. And then the last one would be just the willingness to work, putting the interior work in. So that's really my last question. Then we'll, get people to kind of look you up on Instagram and follow you for your amazing content. But what would be like any last thing that you can share with someone that might be on the fence of just that borderline of negative to positive, where they are, it all just comes down to a choice. And there might be somebody watching this like, yeah, that sounds good, but that's just not me. But I just gave you the 3 ingredients to really bake this amazing cake. So you just have to have those 3 ingredients that I just said. So what would be some last kind of thing you want to share to somebody that maybe on the fence of just growth, and what does this look like? And maybe they're scared, maybe they're nervous about everything that's going on. How can they get the capacity to grow, and then not only grow themselves, but to really change so many other people's lives?
I think the biggest thing, and it was funny because one of the first people I reached out to because I was in awe of them, was, and I call him an uncle. He's known me all my life, but Thurlok Chug, in his 70s, and started doing comedy at his age now. One of the biggest things is it's never too late. It doesn't matter how old you are or where you are in life, whether you're just starting or whether you've been doing or running a business for years and you've got lots of experience. It's never too late to grow. You can always grow, and you can always become a bigger, better version of you. And just if anyone takes one thing away from this, is always chase a better version of yourself. Know who you are today and know how you can make yourself better, and chase that version of yourself for tomorrow, for a month from now, for the year, or 5 years from now.
I love that. Well, it's been an honor having you, and it's even more of an honor with you being a part of our mastermind and adding so much value, not just coaching you, but you also adding tremendous value to me and to the group. I know we talked earlier today. I haven't stopped thinking about our conversation. Awesome. I know you have a ton of great ideas for where Inside Out's going in the future. Just changing thousands of, hopefully millions of people's lives in the future. And
that's absolutely, you know what? If we can help people all around the world live better lives, have better relationships, be more successful, be more flourishing, then why wouldn't we do that?
Yeah. So
it's never too late.
Yeah. And that's
thank you very much, Todd. It's an honor to have you as my coach. It's an honor to be with these awesome 30-some people. I wish I could name them all, but they're all wonderful. And I look forward to every time we get to hang out together and grow together.
Absolutely. Me too. And tell us a little bit where people can find you, if you have a website, or if you just, Instagram handle, stuff like that, where I definitely.
So Balwinder_Marwaha on Instagram. If you Google me, Balwinder Marwaha, you'll find links to my practice in Calgary, Facebook pages, things like that. I haven't been crazy active on social media, but I will start taking advantage of this downtime and become a little bit more active and share more of my thoughts and hopefully help people take that next step.
Absolutely. And to see where you're at now and where you're going to go in the next 12 months is going to be very exciting for me. So thank you so much to you and your beautiful family. I see your wife is on and giving you some great emojis, and some of your family. So awesome. Love the support. Thank you so much, Balwinder, for your leadership. And thanks so much for being on the You vs. You show.
Thank you, Todd. Have a good night.
Thank you so much, everyone. We are on every day, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Central. So we'll have another amazing guest tomorrow. And if you like the show, please share it with somebody, at least one person today. Share it. I know we're going to get this out also on Instagram and IGTV. So thank you so much again, all of you, for watching the show. We really appreciate you. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Good night.